What's up, YouTube? This is Tian bringing you a new video in the efficiency series. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about the chaos recipe. I'll have a comment pinned below which will talk a little bit about the different things that will affect the chaos recipe and whether I think it's worth it or not. Like my other videos, this is what I personally do. I typically do the chaos recipe maybe a week into the league and then switch into kind of my mapping strategy where I use a really strict loot filter and then, skip a lot of loot and don't do the chaos recipe anymore. But whether or not it's worth it for you to do the chaos recipe, this video will kind of assume that you've weighed the pros and cons and you want to do the chaos recipe. And so this will go into how to efficiently do it. What I have behind me is one of the stash tabs that you will need, which is a quad tab that I've lined with some scrolls of ID. The other tab you need will be just kind of a dump tab for some jewelry. These don't need to be scrolls of ID. You can see here I use Perandus coins to line this particular one, and this is kind of a preview of how it will look once it's populated with items. So the chaos recipe really starts before you even pick up your very first item. And first things first, get your tab kind of laid out so you can quickly just dump gear into it and it will automatically sort. The second thing you'll need to do is set up your filters, and so I'll go into FilterBlade here and show you how to set it up. FilterBlade.xyz is a website made by the same person who does the regular loot filters, NeverSync, and I'll show you guys kind of how I set up my loot filters. I use a very strict loot filter. I do some other things to highlight certain currencies, but the thing we're really interested in is highlighting rares by item slot. And so the first thing I'll do is I'll have one that highlights just rings and amulets, and I'll want to see everything 60 and above. The reason 60 and above is important is because anything from 60 to 74 gives you the chaos recipe. And you need an unID'd version of that. So that's for rings and amulets. That'll basically always be on. I have one here for belts that I'll do as well. And I'll have one set up for weapons. So I'll have weapons, wands, daggers, scepters, one-handed sword, one-handed axes. I'll go level 60 here, and then I'll make sure it is a height of 3 and a width of 1. So these are the small one-handed weapons. And then I'll have one for helmets, one for gloves, and then one for boots. So why am I doing these all separately? Well, basically I have a few filters set up depending on what I want to pick up at any given time. So these boots, maybe I'll make all the 2x2 items blue, for example, and maybe I'll make all of the weapons. Oh, I forgot to do body armors here. Body armors and weapons, I'll make them red. So body armor 60, make them red outlined. So here the weapons are red, and maybe belts, I'll make them green. And then jewelry, I'll make them yellow. And how I'll do this is have different loot filters set up with certain things turned on. So for example, I'll have all of my jewelry always on because anybody who's done the chaos recipe, the jewelry is your bottleneck. I'll turn off weapons, have helmets on, but have gloves off, boots off, and body armors on. And then what I'll do is I'll go to download, and then I'll save this as chaos with belts. L is my abbreviation for belts because B will be boots, and then helms, and then body armors, which is chest pieces. Remember, B is boots. And then I'll just save that off, and then I'll do another one. And this time I'll turn off body armors, but then turn on weapons, for example. And then when I do it like this, it'll be chaos with belts, helms, and weapons. And I'll do this, and I'll make sure that I'm only ever picking up items of a certain size. And that kind of goes into our filled chaos recipe here, where I'll fill up the helm column until it's 2 rows deep. fill up the chess piece column until it's 2 rows deep. And basically when they fill up, then I'll switch over to the version that has just gloves and chess pieces, or maybe gloves and weapons, or boots and chess pieces, boots and weapons, all the while picking up jewelry and belts as well. All of the jewelry I'll put into another tab. And yeah, this just makes it brainless, as I'm picking up items, they will automatically sort and kind of go into the correct tabs here. So I can just shift click them in and they will automatically get sorted for me. That's kind of the thought behind having the scrolls the way that they are. And then when it comes time, and this is finally filled up, I'll go to my jewelry tab. And once it's about halfway here, I know I have enough to do a whole bunch of chaos recipes. And then I will do it like so, where I take out from the right to the left, and I'll do 2 un-ID'd recipes at once. So I'll take this out, take out a couple amulets and 4 rings, and then I'll vendor it all at the same time. You want to make sure you click the jewelry last, but here you can get 4 chaos orbs that way. Same thing, go to your tab, take it all out. You'll notice that our belts actually are we're gonna have more belts than we need, but that's okay. And because the belt will be the bottleneck for the next one. And then I do this and get a whole stash tab done, and vendor all these chaos out. And I won't go through the whole thing here, but you can see how this will work in terms of just filling in your chaos recipe. And that's pretty much it. So in conjunction with your loot filter and your stash tabs, you should be able to do the chaos recipe really quickly. Apologize for the length of this video, and definitely look for that pinned comment. If you guys want to see the filters that I am using, not just my chaos recipe filter, but also my super strict loot filter, I'll have a link to my Twitch below, and you can come into my Twitch channel and you type !filter, and you can get my latest filters. They change per league depending on what items are available then, but you guys can definitely check that out. Anyways, hope you guys like this video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for stopping by.